Cadillac, Lincoln Continental, Mustang, and Corvette. These cars flash through a person's mind with ease once the name is heard. They're the winners in the high-stakes name game.
Product name is extremely important because, in a sense, it gives the brand a personality. It gives them an image that consumers can really understand what this product is all about. So what you want to do with automobiles a lot of times is name it according to what it does. Escort, Caravan, Explorer, which creates particular images of what that car is attempting to do.
Audrey Guskey is a marketing professor at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. She says that although a name won't make or break a product, the right name can be a big boost. And that's why companies spare no expense in the hunt for a winner.
There are companies out there that their sole purpose is to give names for cars, and that's all they simply do is create these names. And a lot of times the product names are just generated by computers. They put a bunch of letters together and then they test those particular names. So the first thing is to generate thousands of names for particular cars, and then once they've generated them, they do a lot of consumer testing. They do consumer focus groups and they ask consumers, what image do you have by this name? What images are conjured up in your mind?
Like fashion, names are trendy, always changing with the times. But car makers are always looking for a name that will go the distance. The next Cadillac, one that will be around forever.
A good example is the Millennium just came along, and a lot of other car manufacturers were interested in using that name since we're looking at the turn of the century, and it was a great name, but it was gobbled up very quickly, and it seems like it will be a real successful name because it's suggesting trends of the future, the car of the future.
Like in any business, there are hits and misses. Here are a few car names that have succeeded for all the wrong reasons.
The classic is the Edsel, and unfortunately that was a big failure for Ford. They seemed to do everything wrong very well. In naming the product, they named it after Henry Ford's son, Edsel, his only son. They had tried out a lot of different names for the car, and they had come to 10 different choices of different names. They decided against all of them because they didn't seem to be quite what they wanted, and they thought Edsel would be a good name. Originally they called it the E-car, and then Edsel just fit in.
According to Guskey, naming a car after a living person is always a risky proposition. John DeLorean's sports car, for example. He was caught on videotape in a drug sting operation shortly before his car company failed.
The problem with the car is that the image of the owner, the manufacturer, the creator of the car, tended to be somewhat tarnished because of a lot of the bad publicity he was getting. So as a result, the car tended to be unsuccessful, and I have recently done some research on the name of the DeLorean, and still consumers are a little concerned about the car because of the image.
So what can we expect for the future? Guskey predicts that the cars we buy into the next century will have names with one thing in common.
Where now it's more esoteric or aesthetically named. When you think of Corolla or Camry, the names just sort of flow off the tongue. So they're looking for names that are more musical and rhythmic and in a sense more abstract. And a lot of times you don't exactly understand what the image is, but it's creating this aura of a mystique of a car.
Well, I guess after hearing that report, I can give up the hope of ever seeing a Chevrolet Lucille in the future. That's our show for today. Thanks for joining us. And remember, don't go out on the road without stopping by the Car Care Clinic first.